First and foremost, Jonathan Brooks re-injured his right ACL. He'll be out for the season. He's going to have surgery to repair that at some point. We're working on all that, but my heart is with him. I mean, just the amount of hard work that he put in to get back to this place, to get him to play. So he's heartbroken. I'm heartbroken. The whole group just feeling for him, and so we'll be here every step of the way with him, supporting him through this journey. He knows how to do this. He'll be able to attack it, and his focus is just going to shift in terms of what he's competing for. So just again, it's definitely hard on JB right now, and so all of our thoughts are with him.
Was it a tear?
Yes, it's an ACL tear, so they'll have to address that with surgery going forward.
Any other damage other than that?
No.
In hindsight, would it have been better? Was there any risk of putting him back out there in hindsight, or is this one of those things that just happens?
Right now, my heart is just with JB, just his emotional world, just getting him back mentally to a new place to attack this rehab like he knows how to do.
Dave, on that same topic, Raheem went to the hospital. What's the latest on him? And also, there's been talk about Xavier Legette's wrist and hand, obviously the injury a couple of weeks ago. Has that been affecting him at all?
So Raheem, he was taken to the hospital as a precaution. Anytime there's an injury and there's chest pain involved, I think that's the smartest thing. I'm not an expert, but I know that from a medical standpoint, they wanted to get him there to rule out something serious, and it turned out to be just a blunt force contusion to the chest area. And but he's day to day, and so we'll take him through the process and see if we can get him out there.
Do you, just based on normal ACL recovery timelines, is 2026 kind of the realistic goal for Jonathan?
I really don't know. They got to get in there and look at all of it, and I'm sure we'll have more information coming out of surgery and all that.
Will the surgery be this month?
I'm not sure. Yeah, that's all under the works right now.
Just following up on Mike's question.
Yeah.
Is there something going on with Xavier's hand?
He had an old injury. It hasn't been an issue. He's been playing ball, and he'll be the first one to tell you. He'd come up here and say, I got to make that catch. So that's what we're counting on. Went right to him afterwards and said, hey, man, it was a beautiful route. Let's find ways to finish this, and I know he'll get that done. And he's been playing so hard for us, so counting on him.
Dave, you guys had brought Jonathan along really slowly, making sure that he was back.
Yeah.
How frustrating is that this comes back?
Again, I'm thinking about him. This is not about the Panthers. This is about Jonathan Brooks and his journey back to playing football, and that's the part that when you see a guy work so hard, to work his way back onto the field, the excitement that comes with it. My heart just goes with him, and knowing that he knows the process. He knows the road that he has to get back out there, and the challenges that come with it. And so, but again, that's also, at this point now, that's also an advantage for him to be able to lean on the things he knows he's got to do.
So would Mike Boone be?
Yeah. So
running back?
yes, Mike Boone, who's been with us this whole time. We'll ask Mike to help us out that way, and then we'll have to see where we're at with Raheem.
Any thoughts on going and getting a running back in the open market?
Yeah, we're looking at all that right now.
I apologize for interrupting her question, but how is Brooks doing with all this? Is he okay? How is his emotional state right now?
As you can imagine, he's really, really crushed, really discouraged. Just the excitement and the buildup and all that.
Steve said you guys were very methodical and cautious with this.
Yeah.
Was there, and I remember asking you this a couple months ago, was there a point in October or so that he had a setback or some things, scar tissue that y'all were concerned about?
Not really. No, we just, again, it was about getting him on the field with confidence, playing with speed, and he showed that, and so we just progressed him, as we saw fit, and got him to where he was playing confident football, and that's kind of the things that we had talked about, and so we felt like we got him to that point, and right now the ifs and whats of what happened in the past, I honestly, like, my heart is just with JB, and to get that news this morning, it hit us all really hard.
Did he have a follow-up MRI first thing this morning?
Yeah, he did. And that's when they confirmed it. Yeah.
I know you said that your heart's with Jonathan Brooks,
Yeah.
which makes a lot of sense. Chuba Hubbard did have a milestone that he crested
Yeah.
Against the Eagles with the 1,000 yards on the season. You signed him earlier this year. I don't know, how do you see those two things happening at the same time? I imagine it's a strange place to be with the backfield.
Absolutely, and it's a tribute to the group, to the commitment to it. It all starts up front with the offensive line and the progression, just of our run game and the growth in it. Goody, Joe, Kali'i, Dean Petzing, drawing them all up, just all the guys, getting together to put our guys in the best situation to run the ball, and Chuba's commitment to running our system the way it's supposed to be run, and really making some great effort plays, which showed up again yesterday. But a great thing there. But to me, the goal isn't ever to rush for 1,000 yards. The goal is to win games, and that's ultimately what the guys care about too. But the guys take a lot of pride in running the ball hard, and that's been something that we could count on, for the most part. So really cool for the group there.
Dave, last night we talked to a pretty animated Ashawn Robinson, who now leads you guys in sacks. You played against him pretty regularly in the NFC West. Before that, I'm just curious, he says that he's getting more pass rushing opportunities than ever before. Coming into this and signing him, what did you know about him, and what have you learned about him as a player since he's been here?
First and foremost, as a guy, just the character of the guy, like the effort that he plays with when he's out there, the strain, the commitment to really playing physical football, and wanting that as a group. He's central to that identity for our group of just playing hard, and he shows it. That's the way he plays. And he brings a lot of passion. Just really cares, a lot of pride in what he does. And then, he came into this season in great shape. For him, I hadn't been around him, but for him, he was like, this is the best shape I've been in a while. And he committed himself to taking care of his body coming into this year. So he just made himself available, and taking advantage of his opportunities.
What did you address Jonathan's injury with the team?
I did, yeah. The guys were kind of hearing some of the guys who are around there, but as a group, we addressed it, and you could feel all the guys just feeling for him, and just the character of the kid. Like, he is a stand-up guy. He does his job. He works hard. He cares about it. He's into it. He's detailed in the stuff that he's studying. So he approaches the game the right way, and so everyone's pulling for him. And so it was a good moment for us to just let him know that our thoughts and our prayers are with him, and we got his back the whole way through.
He went through the rehab process with a lot of guys this year. There were a lot of guys who were on injury lists. DJ Wanham in particular said that it was really hard on him. Did you kind of notice that shared empathy just kind of in the last 24 hours from the locker room?
Yeah, from those guys, from everybody, really, from the whole group. So it's a group that really cares about each other and enjoys working together.
Is there anything that stood out on tape in your review that you want to kind of hone in on this week in preparation for the Cowboys?
You're talking about just from last game to the next game? Yeah, it's the continued investment into stopping the run, and for the consistency of it, to show up so that we can force teams into pass downs, because our pass rush is improving, our coverage is improving, all those things are getting better, and it's the one piece that we continue to attack and continue to address.
JC, any update on JC?
I think he's day-to-day right now. Am I right on that, Bruce? Sure. Yeah, so day-to-day on that, checked out better than, checked out pretty good for what we hoped coming out of the game. But again, we have to just take it day by day and kind of see what his availability will be like this week.
That's something he's been dealing with for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Without you saying Bryce here the last month and a half, how fully committed are you now to him for next year?
Yeah, I just see him just making great decisions, continuing to push our whole system forward in the way that he's preparing, in the way that he's making it come to life on game day. Certainly making better calls out of what I've called, and making plays out of it, and finding scramble throws and those things down the field. And so I'm fired up for the progression of Bryce, and just watching him just take each step every week, attacking the game plan and making it come to life during the week.
And Andy Knott had the thumb injury in the car accident.
Yeah.
What What was the plan at that point? When were you gonna get another look at Bryce?
Yeah, it would have been really interesting, and fortunately we got the opportunity. Bryce got the opportunity that he did, and on the other side of it, like I was pulling for Andy at the time too, who was, building some weeks. He had a couple of rough weeks and was like, okay, here we go. Let's get this thing back on track, and so it's two stories, and that's life. And Bryce made the most of his opportunities, and here we are, just with the weekly growth, and took another step in a positive direction against a really good team. And so, that's where we're at. It's like we're week to week, here we go against the Cowboys, and we'll have to lock back in.
During this last 6 weeks, or even Sunday, obviously it's a two-way street between the play caller and the quarterback and everything. Is there a play, without getting into too much strategy, that you called that he performed better than maybe the initial concept was, or maybe kind of had to improvise and adjust to the play calling? Like maybe do you have an example of that?
Yeah, multiple times. I mean, just getting to different checks, I don't want to talk about our scheme specifically, but it happened a couple times where their coverage was better than the play I called, and he extends the play and finds a completion, or throws an incompletion, when they got us completely covered in field goal range. It was like early in the game, we're like in a 2nd and 7 in field goal range to get our first 3 points, and the concept is gloved. He didn't have a lane, throws it away, and we live to see another down after that. So just making decisions like that, is part of the position, and I would love to say that, I know exactly what the coordinator is going to do in all these situations. It's just not true. And that's where the ownership of the quarterback and the group to start the second play. This one's dead. All right, here comes the second play. We start moving, and to see the effort of the offensive line using their hands, disengaging, the whole thing fitting in like that. But yeah, he certainly saved my bacon a couple times out there.
He seems more.
Go ahead.
No, well, he seems more comfortable extending those plays, and I guess before.
Yeah.
What do you think that's a result of? Why do you think
Yeah,
that is?
it goes back to the understanding of what the play design is and what the coverage is. It's like most plays, you got an answer for this, and then the second one. If they call this third defense that we really don't have an answer for, that's where the quarterback now says, okay, not the design, here we go. And that's where the ownership of the concepts, the trust in his skill players, playing with them, a pretty consistent group now for a while, with the exception of Jalen Coker. But I think that it's the group working off of each other that way. That's when it starts to get really good, when it's that me to you factor between the quarterback and the skill players. And I think you just know, like as a quarterback, I see the picture of what this play looks like. This is not the design. Boom, start the second play. And that's where you can catch the defense a little bit off guard with that quick decision like that. And that's what I've seen happen.
Did you say, I'm sorry, do you know yet whether Raheem's going to be available this week?
He's day to day. We think he's got a good chance to be available this week, but we have to see because it was, the injury was just yesterday. So we have a couple of days to figure out whether he'll be trending in the right direction.
And go for it, Kevin.
And then Alex.
I know you were with Devin Tompkins in Tampa Bay too, but what have you just kind of been able to see from him the past couple weeks, and yesterday particularly with how many snaps he got?
Yeah, just the versatility and being reliable. He's just he's been able to come in and do a couple of things offensively for us, and then especially like in the return game, when Raheem goes down, DT goes in there and handles the returns and fields the ball. One other punt I thought he could have fielded, but for the most part did a good job securing the ball, securing the yards that we had right there. So really valuable to me, and a guy that's got familiarity, and then also just the spirit that he brings on a weekly basis. Every day is like the best day of his life. He's on the field, running around. He doesn't understand what walkthrough means. He's way too fast, and but it's the spirit of his joy for being out there, and it's infectious, and it affects me in a positive way. It affects his teammates also, and nobody can really take a play off because he's always going fast, and so it trains everybody. We got to go, and those are the type of guys that we love having.
Is he ever still?
No, absolutely not. He's always moving.
And then
Last one.
latest on Jalen Coker.
Coker, just again, just progressing through with the quad. I had another session today, so we'll regroup and talk about what that looked like today, and hoping to get him back out there this week.